this build, hoping I can get it ready for a build video tomorrow. I'm starting my stream a little bit late today because I kept postponing my first 4 hours of Sense of Salazar. I split them into 4 videos. They're still being processed by YouTube, so when they're ready, I'm probably gonna upload them later, publish them later after this stream. But if some of you were interested in my Sense of Salazar first 4 hours, expect the whole playlist of 4 videos, 1 hour each, published later today. So, since I've got 12,000 gold, I decided to start the stream with a little bit of gambling. Maybe the RNG would bless us with the items I need. We'll see. We will see. What's this? Arc Power Shoulders? Oh yeah. Well, I really need the Mountain King helmet and the Mountain King shoulders. I also need a specific cannon, but I can deal without the cannon. Even without the unstable war arm cannon, I can still consider the build ready. But I definitely won't consider the build ready without the Mountain King helmet and without maybe the Mountain King shoulders. For now, the one must-have item for me for this build is the Mountain King helmet, because that gives me +2 with the set bonus to all bro skills, and I can maybe wear the Mountain King chest and lose that ice damage flat until I get the shoulders. And when I do get the shoulders, I can of course switch. Okay, let's try a little bit more. We've got 6,000 left, 5,000 now. I'm not relying on gambling to get a legendary, but somehow yesterday I got lucky and got a legendary, and I was like, alright, let's try it. This is actually pretty nice. Whether it's +1 ice shield or +1 vortex bomb, I'm gonna go for the one with more defense and more fire defense. But maybe I can save this for a different build. If I make a different vortex bomb build, I'm probably not gonna make a different vortex bomb build before the wipe. And the wipe is coming soon, probably a month, probably less, probably more. Most likely next week they're gonna announce the date, so we have a specific day in mind, specific day on our calendars to mark. Alright, enough gambling, let's go. I did some testing yesterday, I tested certain things. I could confirm that this is doing, well, 100% weapon damage instead of 30. Because it was doing more damage than my basic attack. And I tested that this was doing exactly the same damage as this. So most likely this is doing 100%, and this right now for me is doing 100%. When I level it up, it's gonna do more. I need some skill points. This is definitely the case for this build. In order to finish it, I need some skill points. I'm gonna quickly go to my storage, leave some items there, maybe change my helmet. I will be doing Fazir mostly Fazir, and I'm not gonna be going after maps that give me XP because I don't need XP anymore. So I will be going after infamous unique maps. Infamous for the double fame, uniques to make sure every single champion encounter is a unique, which would mean I'm gonna be getting for every champion encounter around 300 plus fame, which is a lot. Any way you look at it, it is a what. Okay, this is gonna be my fire set, so let's just get more fire or regular defense. And this is gonna be my spare blade, maybe. I'm actually gonna check something. Can this blade be stronger if I make it wife bound? Just a little bit stronger. So if I'm fighting something that's not Vultura, I will be switching to this blade. If I'm fighting Vultura, I'm gonna be switching to that one. I should have probably upgraded this. Well, okay, if I lose this, I'm gonna use this. as my spare. So let's equip this now. This is Frostblast Fire. I don't need this anymore. I'm gonna put it in a storage. Either storage, maybe this one. Seriously, all of them. Okay, just a moment. Let's take another one of those. I'm gonna put this there, and I'm going to put... what am I wearing right now? Regular defense. Yeah, let's put this one there. Okay, I'm ready. Let's look for Fazir dungeon levels with the good bonuses. I'm not gonna push further because I really don't think pushing further is good for my farming. I just need uniques with infamous. So let's try and find it, even if it's a wall level. Infamous twice. Between unique and infamous, I'm not sure which one is better. If I have to pick just one of them. Unique probably is the better option because it gives you... it turns purple enemies into green. That means every purple enemy that was gonna spawn on an infamous map would be giving me 2 times the fame. But if it's unique, it's actually giving me 3 times the fame, so I think uniques takes precedent, takes priority over infamous. If I had to pick just one of them. Of course, ideally, if you wanna maximize your farming, you have to find something that's got both cards in one place, and that is hard. I mean, I could spend maybe a few hours and still not get it. So I'm just gonna grab the highest level uniques map I can get, which was somewhere here, I think. Let's grab this one. We're getting lightning defense there. So I don't need the poison. If I equip this, I'm gonna equip this for now. And if I equip this shoulder here, I'm gonna lose some regular defense. But I can equip something over here. What could I put there? I could put this one for gear work. And equip the arc powered shoulder, and let's go. And Thomas, welcome Thomas to my YouTube channel. Also welcome to anyone else on YouTube and Twitch. Hope you enjoy my stream today. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them over. All sorts of questions. So let's see. Let's do this. We're doing a blazing map, as you can see, so there's gonna be a lot of fire. It's gonna be getting hot in here with all the blazing. So I'm after one specific item is on top of my wish list. On top of my wish list for this build is the Mountain King's helmet. I don't care what level it is, but ideally it will be level 60. But again, my main farming is not gonna come from drops. My main farming is gonna come from gear bundles, from legendary gear bundles, from... Wait, let's make sure I'm safe before I show you. But yeah, legendary gear bundles is what I'm farming. I'm not farming for items, I'm farming for gear bundles which give me items. That's the most efficient way right now to farm in this game. So even if you're farming a level 1 map, you can be farming a level 1 map, but even if you're farming a level 46 Fuzzier Dungeon map, as long as it's got the right modifiers on it, you're gonna be getting enough fame. So I'm farming for those gear bundles. Well, look at the fucking timing, perfect timing. Perfect timing. But yeah, that's where my gear comes from. Okay, we got the Raging Beater. Not bad, but not something I was really needing right now for this build, but still better than nothing. Alright, I don't need this, I don't need this, I don't need this, and I don't need this. I'm going to be picking up mostly blue items, maybe automatons, I mean locomotions I can pick up if they're green, but I'm gonna focus on picking up mostly blue, because green items are hardly gonna be upgrades for me with my current items. That's why I've equipped this chest in my legendarium. The chest piece that would get me extra gear work, and I'm gonna keep switching it between one and the other type of enemies, so I can keep getting that gear work bonus for more drops. So I'm gonna be trying to pull every trick out of the hat. Every trick up my sleeve I'm gonna try and pull so I can maximize my farming. Of course, the best would have been if I had a teammate, so we can get that gearwork bonus by standing close to each other, which is changing to just needing to be in the same instance instead of proximity, which is a very good change coming up with a future patch, probably this week, this upcoming week, or the week after, but we know it's coming in one of the next patches. Either the next or the one afterwards. And that's an amazing change, not needing to be right next to your teammate to get that 15% gearwork. Also, the gearwork returning for playing on a higher difficulty, that's another great change. Which again, it made no sense for them to remove it in the first place. People like to know that playing on a harder difficulty is more rewarding, and they like to see that that made obvious when selecting difficulties. There's just something satisfying about seeing on the difficulty selection menu something to do with wood, with drops, with XP and things like that. Thomas is saying that he will buy the game for Switch. They said that it will be out this fall. Yes, it will be out this fall, not on just Switch, on all platforms. PlayStation maybe 4, not 5. Xbox maybe the old one, not the new one, and PC and Switch. And they're saying soon, and they're saying fall. So my guess is probably within a month, 3, 4, 5 weeks from now. That's my guess. But even if they postpone it until December, which is still considered fall, technically it's not winter until the 20-something December, 22nd of December. So it's not gonna be false advertising even if they release the game early December. But my guess is they're gonna release it within a month. Within a month and a few weeks max, the game should be out. It's not good to release it right now, because right now some people are still playing Path of Exile's new leak. But let's say 2-3 weeks from now, people would be really bored from the new Path of Exile leak. And if there is no new Diablo 3 season by then, around the same time, then that means it's gonna be perfect time to launch it. You gotta be clever when launching games and place them in the right time frame. Torchlight 2 I think was released around the same time Borderlands 2 was released, if I'm not mistaken, and that kind of hurt the sales of Torchlight 2 in a way. At least that's what I remember reading long ago in the Discord. I can't remember really well what exactly was happening there, but most likely that's the case. I mean, let me try and look it up. Torchlight 2 release date. September 20th, 2012. Let's replace Torchlight with Borderlands. Borderlands 2 release date. September 18th, 2012. So Borderlands 2 launched 2 days before Torchlight 2, and that in a way indirectly might have hurt the game's sales. But again, they're still different. They might be both wooters, but one of them is isometric hack and slash wooter, the other one is a shooter wooter. So I'm just hoping that there isn't some huge releases of games similar to this one at the time it launches, and also that there aren't any seasons of other famous games. Path of Exile already did its latest patch, so it's not gonna do another one for another 10 weeks from now, so it's definitely safe on the Path of Exile front, but Diablo might have a new season around the same time this game launches. But if it's on Switch, I don't think there's Diablo 3 on Switch, so Switch sales are definitely not gonna get hurt, and PS4 and Xbox sales probably are not gonna get hurt even if there's a new Diablo season at the same time this game launches. So maybe PC sales could get hurt a little if there's a new season there. I really hope people see the good things in the game and focus on the good stuff rather than the bad. I admit that there are bad things in the game, but they're eventually gonna get sorted. Given enough time, the developers have proven time and time again that they care about the game, and they're striving to make it better and better with every patch. Even though sometimes it might feel that they're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. As long as they realize what goes wrong with each patch and reconsider some of the decisions they've made recently that felt like a step backwards, that's gonna be nice. I can tell you one thing though, the developers really do care about the game. They're not making the game just for the money. Of course they gotta make a living, so it's good for them to make money out of this game. But they definitely wanted to make this game with a passion, and if you talk to them on Discord, you're gonna kind of figure that out by the way they approach the fan base and by the way they handle certain things. So that's in my book a big plus for a game. Developers that really are trying to make a game that everyone can like. It's gonna be hard to make a game that everyone can like, but at least the majority of people hopefully could like it. And you're a Diablo player from day one and played every season. Yeah, I've only played in 1 season and I got bored really quickly. I only played in the season of Royal Grandeur, and it just, something in the game just didn't click to me, especially that whole speedrunning mentality. I just don't like the speedrunning mentality, and multiplayer in Diablo 3 was very hard to find chill out players who are not trying to be meta. Players who just wanna farm at their own pace without trying to push to be the best one. in the game to be climbing the leaderboards and all of that. It's very hard in games with competitive leaderboards to find people who give a rat's ass about leaderboards like me. Sometimes I can find people. I mean, I was playing with my real life friend, one of my buddies I grew up with. That's who I was playing Diablo 3 with back then, and he kept wanting for us to push. So he kept asking us to test different builds. Maybe sometimes we could try me playing on a monk, or maybe him playing on a barbarian on a meta build to keep pulling enemies. And we had our own solo builds to try and push with, but again, I really didn't find that much joy in pushing for the leaderboards. I just liked playing different builds, testing different stuff. I like testing my bounty hunter builds, I like testing my witch doctor builds and so on. But back then I wasn't a content creator, I was just a consumer. So I didn't make builds or anything like that, I was just looking at other people's builds and slightly reworking them to make them my own flavor. But if I were to start playing Diablo 4, for example, when it launches, it is my how do I say it, rule to not watch at other people's content. If I'm making content for a game, I avoid any type of other content, other people content for that game to avoid unnecessarily, subconsciously copying and doing things the same way others do them. But Diablo 3, it had its fine, fun moments, but right now I think it's in life support, on a graveyard shift support. That's how it feels. Damn, that's a very good weapon. This weapon could be amazing as my secondary. In fact, let's do this. I'm gonna socket it and make it good. I need potions though, I need potions. So I'm going to go to the town to buy potions before the next map. This map gave me a decent amount of contract levels for a single map that's not perfectly wrote. Just a unique map without the infamous. I mean, Torchlight 3 on Switch is the perfect fit for the console. Switch is such a console where games like Torchlight 3 would sell like freshly baked hot bread on a Sunday morning. But yeah, Diablo 3 is not keeping it fresh. They're barely changing much. With each season, it's just a different gimmick. And that's all it is. Different gimmick, different cosmetics, different challenges, but no real actual content. Yes, Switch really needs games like those. Switch needs games like those. Hopefully it gets some more soon. A great thing about developing a game on the Unreal Engine is it's I think very easy to make one game ported to a different console. So this game is a PC game, but the Unreal Engine makes it less difficult. Let's not say easy, but let's say less difficult to port the game to consoles with the least amount, I think, of changes compared to having to develop it separately. Torchlight 2 in Switch is good. Yeah, I know Torchlight 1 and 2 have been enjoyed by a lot of my viewers. They've been telling me they enjoyed playing them on Switch. I could see that. I don't own a Switch, so I have no idea what other options there are on the Switch. I think the new Zelda game would be amazing. The new Zelda game, which would be kind of like more hack and slashy experience, third-person hack and slash experience, kind of a game where you're gonna have different heroes to get. So while Nintendo are working on two new Zelda games, the Breath of the Wild sequel, whatever the name will be, and that new one which would be kind of like a prequel to Breath of the Wild or so, which would be more of a hack and slashy focused instead of the. I mean, it's still gonna be RPG, but it's gonna be focusing more on the hack and slash aspects of the game. I forgot the name. Let me check the name. I watched the trailer the other day. So Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. I think that's the name. Yeah, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. This Zelda game would be pretty fun to play on the Switch. And it would fit very well there. Alright, let's try and find a good map again. I'm looking for infamous uniques. Infamous uniques. Or just unique. If not infamous unique, just uniques. Uniques. This is stage 13. Stage 13 uniques gear wookie. That seems like a decent choice. I'm just gonna quickly check them all. So for now, stage 13 is... oh, that's actually not a bad choice, but it's Reliquary and not Gear Wookie. Infamous Uniques, come on Infamous Uniques, where are you? It's very hard to get this map, but when you do get it, it feels like Christmas when you get that map. Alright, stage 13 it is. It's actually a map with 50 gearworks, so it's not a bad option. So Switch is the best console you ever gave money, and you have a PC, a PS2, 3, GB Game Boy Advanced as well, and so many. Yeah, my last console was Sega Saturn. So we had the old Sega Mega Drive, Sega SNES. Then we had the Sega Mega Drive with a CD attachment. Then we had the Sega Saturn, which was only CD, and since then it has been in our house with me and my brother. It has been only PC, no other consoles. So yeah, since Sega Saturn I've not owned a console, not even a portable one, mostly due to financial reasons. I mean, for a long time it was just one computer in the house, which was my brother's, until eventually later I got older and I got my own laptop, so I can, well, have something when traveling to university abroad. But eventually when I started working after university, that's my first PC that I got in 2014. And the thing is, for my country standards, it's expensive to own a console because, well, you have to buy a lot of games for consoles. Whereas with PC, you have the option to test a game on Steam, and if you don't like it, you can refund it within 2 hours, which I don't think is enough. Or you can download a cracked game, and then if you like it, you can buy it. I definitely agree, cracking and pirated games are not hurting the industry. In fact, they're doing the exact opposite, because I know many cases where people would download a cracked game and then afterwards buy it. I've done that myself. I've downloaded a cracked game and then spent $150 on the special edition of that game after liking it. Few years ago, I did the same thing for Pathfinder Kingmaker. I never played Pathfinder before. I had no idea what I'm getting myself into, so I decided to just check the game as a pirated copy, and then after spending 5-6 hours in the game, I was okay, I'm sold, I'm buying the game, I'm buying the special edition. and I got the most expensive edition, and I didn't regret that. So I definitely can agree here with others who are saying that the pirating, the game pirating, is hurting the industry. It's not true. I can agree that it's not true, and that in fact it's helping the industry. Because people mostly do that because they don't have the money to buy the game, and if they didn't have the option to download the game on a torrent, for example, well, it's not like they're magically gonna get the money and get the game. But if they do get the money and they love the game that they have already tried, they definitely would buy it if they had the option. At least that's what I'd like to believe, that some people really would consider supporting developers after testing their games. And I think this really doesn't hurt Torchlight 3, because Torchlight 3 probably will get pirated, the offline version. And I hope it doesn't hurt the sales, and I hope that people who download the game after it launches on PC as a torrent would buy it when they have the option, if they like the game. Because this game really does deserve all the support it could get. Because those devs, I haven't seen more easygoing devs, down-to-earth devs. Even Max Schaefer, who is a legend in the industry, he constantly talks to people on Discord on a daily basis. Max Schaefer, one of the co-founders of Blizzard Note, of Diablo 2 and Diablo 1, he is just such a down-to-earth guy. You can chat with him every now and then when he's not busy in the official Discord, and I definitely agree that him and his team deserve all the copies they can sell on launch, because they've spent I think what, 3 years already developing this game, maybe 4. I'm not sure how much it has been, but I know the alpha, the very first version of alpha, started in late 2018. I started playing this game in early 2019, like April. So I've not been here since the beginning, but yeah, the game's been a while, for quite some time, and I really hope it does well. There is potential there, and the model, the way the game is designed, allows for content add-ons, for non-stop content add-ons under the form of acts, under the form of frontiers. So it's not gonna be hard to keep this game fresh and updated with new content, the way they've designed it. I mean, in general, those games, hack and slash ARPGs, as long as there's support for the game, they can always keep coming up with new ideas. Not just this game, any game in the genre. This design really allows for just adding a new chapter every year or every 6-9 months or whatever. For example, look at Grim Dawn, how well it's doing. Grim Dawn, then Ashes of Malmut, then and then they did what was the other patch? I keep forgetting, the desert patch. So that's a good way to grow this game. And in between the big paid expansions in Grim Dawn, they've been giving us, for example, a ton of free updates, free big content updates with new types of activities, new types of quests, new types of enemies, new items, and so on. That's actually a very good item. Look at that defense. 11,000 electric defense, 4,600 regular, and a socket. So I no longer need my hover sphere. But yeah, I think Torchlight 3 really would have more people buying it on the Switch than on PC. Or for sure more people would be buying it on Switch than on PlayStation and Xbox. I think consoles is where this game would hopefully make some good money for further development. And I'm sincerely hoping that the developers would focus their attention on more endgame content. So after the game launches, I'm sincerely hoping that they would focus their attention on designing additional endgame content. Because right now we only have this Fazir, and it might be okay for a few months, but people would get bored of it, people would want some variety. People would want some extra flavor in their Torchlight 3 life. So hopefully the developers would focus their attention in that direction as the first major patch after launch to be some new type of endgame activity. And there's many ways you can make endgame activities. You can, for example, make something like a new game plus mode, something like finishing the story, then starting to scale the enemies in the zone to your level. You can do something like Uber bosses that you can fight. You can do something like a survival mode. You can do something like a payload mode. You can do something that's completely different, completely new, the same way Path of Exile does something completely different and new every leak, with a specific gimmick about it. If they do come up with weird ideas the same way Path of Exile does, it's gonna take the game a long way. Because not everyone likes the 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 way Path of Exile is overly complicated for the casual players, for people who don't want to be rocket scientists to make a build. And this game is not too simple, not too difficult to make a build. The synergies for builds are there and they're not that difficult to see. And if one wants to synergize and make a meta build, the options are there for them. But even if they don't play a meta build in this game, they can still enjoy it. They can still do the hardest difficulty. See, this build is definitely underpowered build. I would like to consider this build a non-meta underpowered build, mostly due to certain bugs that hopefully would get sorted eventually. But I'm still playing on the hardest difficulty, and I'm still farming stuff on that hardest difficulty. Without having my build completely finished. This one item I'm missing, the Mountain King helmet, would allow me to get extra 12 skill points. This is how important this item is for that build. One item gives me 12 skill points when I combine it with two other items of the set. So for example, let's say I have the Mountain King gauntlets, the Mountain King cuirass, and the Mountain King helmet. And the helmet, for example, is this thing that gives me +2 when in a set brawl skills. That means I can remove 2 points from each of those 6 skills. That's a total of 12 skill points. So this is why it's so important to get this. This is why it's the most important item for the build, combined with two other items of the set. Ideally those two items would be the shoulders and the gauntlets, but I don't have the shoulders, and I just hope I get the what's its name, the helmet before I get the shoulders. I can do the build without the helmet. I mean without the shoulders, but not without the helmet. The helmet is the must-have item. 12 skill points is just a huge thing to not benefit from. It's just a lot of extra damage and utility that you can put into different skills. Let's see here. Alright, over here we can check this. Oh, look at how many unique enemies there are on this map. That's why I love the Unix modifier. It's considered a negative modifier, but I personally consider it a positive map modifier, having every single champion be unique. Meaning you're getting the most fame you can get from an enemy. Green enemies give you 3 times the fame of purple enemies. So pretty nice. Let's see that. Utility threads. Oh, 2 times utility threads. Although I've got this one, I need to socket it later. Oh, and I forgot to socket this one. I need to socket it. Let's go this way. How's my resistance? 68%, 96,000 resistance defense. Right, over this way. Let's do it like that. And boom. And boom. But yeah, I can't wait for this game to launch. And when it does launch, I will keep doing what I'm doing, making builds. And I'm also be making other types of content, like I'm probably gonna redo my beginner's guide. I'm just waiting for launch. I don't wanna redo my beginner's guide right now, cause maybe something might change before launch. I have a beginner's guide on YouTube, which is a little bit outdated. The major change, the major difference there is the amount of skills on the skill bar. When I made it, we had 2 less skill bar slots. We had 6 slots plus the relic. Now we have 9. So instead of 6 plus 1, we have 9 plus 0. And the relics were an item that you craft that gave you some skills, but not as many as now. So it definitely wasn't as good as before. But that's the one big difference in my old outdated beginner's guide, and it will definitely be reworked very shortly after the launch. I don't think it's gonna be worth reworking it right now, because I really have no idea what they're gonna change in the next few weeks ahead of launch. But I'm always happy to provide information to players who are new to the game, who have some questions, who need some hints, tips, how to play, how to gear up, how to do various things in the game. Oh, look at that, oh, look at that. More threats, more threats. Right, let's send the pet to sell. Let's see here.
Your pet has arrived.
Well, the farming continues. I actually got lucky and I got a bunch of legendary items. So this 50 gear luck that the map had as a built-in affix kind of helped. It kind of helped. So kind of happy about that. Hopefully we get another good Unix map. One thing's for sure, I'm always gonna be able to find a Unix map, just not an infamous Unix like I want to, and like I'm hoping to. Vortex bomb cooldown offhand. Was this vortex bomb? No, that's bro. This is Vortex Bomb cooldown 2-hander. Alright, let's put this Vortex Bomb cooldown here. And oh, I wanted to use the enchanting station. Wait, did I just hit my forge statue? So I wanna give this some damage. Boom, 7.6k item. Just like that. And this one is electric. Let's give it some more electric maybe. Or more regular defense. Okay, next map. Unique Gear Waki. I could actually do this Unique Gear Waki if I don't see Infamous Unique. See, one thing I think makes no sense is having to click on every card. So once you hit this, why don't the cards automatically flip? Why do I have to click on each of them when there is no mechanic that gives me more or less rewards based on how many maps I have reviewed? For example, let's say I only review one map, one card. Let's say I only review this one. Then I get maximum rewards. Let's say I review another card, then I lose some of the rewards. Let's say I review another card, then I lose a little bit more of the rewards. Or let's say this is the default, and if you review only one map or only two maps, you get more rewards than the default instead of saying it losing. Let's say not getting as much. That might be because right now this is just unnecessarily forcing the players to click 3 more times instead of clicking here and then boom, nice smooth animation of all 3 cards getting reviewed in front of you. This I never could understand why they thought this would be a good idea to make us click 3 times more. Alright, we're doing map 18. There wasn't a better one than this one. So this endgame currently needs a lot of improvements to be a little bit more appealing to the vast player base. Because right now I think there's a very small amount of players who enjoy the Fuzier's Dungeon the way it is. Very small amount. I hope they make it a little bit more appealing to the broader audience. Because believe me, when the reviews start coming in, the majority of the reviews would be negative reviews about the Fuzier's Dungeon. When there's negative stuff to say, it's most likely gonna involve the Fuzier's Dungeon. If people have something negative to say about the game. I think that's the weakest link in the game right now, in the end game. I really hope people ignore those reviews and just give it some time to get better. Because if you don't think of the end game too much, it can be enjoyed. If you play it the way I do, if you don't try to push further, and just focus on farming items rather than pushing further, then you can still enjoy it. I don't need to push to level 100 to be able to farm legendary gear efficiently. See, I just did 2 maps. With those 2 maps I've already gotten 11 contract levels, 12. And if you do it right, you can even get like 30 contract levels for a single map. For a single map, if you get the right map. So you can get between 20 and 30 contract levels on an Infamous Uniques map. That is long enough. For like 10-15 minutes. And that equals 3 legendary items. Every 9 contract levels you get a legendary gear bundle, which gives you 1 legendary item. So much more efficient to farm contract levels rather than pushing further. because you're not getting additional rewards by pushing the dungeon further. You're just getting bragging rights, and that's it. There's nothing else other than bragging rights right now as a reward for going further. And that is fine for competitive players who wanna show off. That is more than enough for now, I guess. As an indirect leaderboard of who reached which stage of the Fazir dungeon. But to those who only care about farming, you can probably push until level 30, and that's gonna mean you have around 30 challenge levels to look for the right map into. Alright, there we go. I'm playing a little bit more defensively right now. You can see I'm not using the crit chance aura, I'm using the defender aura. But I think with this build I can get crit chance from many other places. And this one's taking a while. I'm not a big fan of endless. By the way, you said endless. I don't like endless in games. I don't like something that's truly endless. I like my endgame having a final level, final stage, and being able to just repeat that stage or just repeat some of the stages before it. And this game is doing it in a very nice way. You have 251 stages of this dungeon. 251 stages. That's more than enough to keep pushing, to keep farming. But if you reach stage 251, you can either keep farming 250, 251 or 249. You can farm whatever stage you want. You don't have to farm 251. If you want, you can farm stage 20, because it's gonna be much quicker to farm it, much quicker to get wood. Because the further the stage goes, the more HP and movement speed and damage the enemies get. Every level gives the enemies 5% I think movement speed, or 1% movement speed, 5% HP and 5% damage. Or I need to check. Maybe it's 2.5% damage and 5% HP and 1% movement speed, something like that. I'm not really sure exactly, but in the point of it, the point is that they're getting more damage, more movement speed, and more HP. And it's much better to farm the lower difficulties. I mean, not the lower difficulties, but the lower stages. Stage 20, 30, stage 15, 16, etc. You can just farm those. Because it's gonna be faster. You're gonna be killing things much quicker rather than fighting bullet sponges on stage 250, because you're not gonna get better rewards. It's not like Wosen, where you have to farm higher than level 163, because at levels 163 you get the strongest affixes possible in Wosen. So in Wosen, if you're farming something lower than level 163, you're not getting the best items. But if you're farming 163 instead of 187, it's much better, because farming 187 only gives you more XP, but gives you items that are more expensive to upgrade and to enchant. I mean to craft. So in Wosen it's much better to farm 163 instead of 187. If you want gear that's gonna be just as powerful. Even though the item level would be lower, it's still gonna give you the exact same stats, but it's gonna be cheaper to upgrade, cheaper to craft, cheaper to make stronger. So for example in Wosen it's not best to farm 187, it's best to farm 163 if you don't need XP. If you don't need that XP boost. And in this game it's kind of very different from Wosen, because the gear doesn't change. Level 60 gear will always be level 60 gear, whether you're doing map works or Fazir dungeon level 60 or Fazir dungeon level 60 and above, with the extra damage, movement speed, HP on the enemies. It's always gonna be exactly the same level 60 gear. And I really like this about the game, because it's thinking about the filthy casuals like me that don't want to have to push to the strongest stage of the end game to be able to farm items. If someone wants to try too hard and push the last level, let them push it, but let us newbies and plebs push the low levels and still get geared. So I like how they've designed it here. Shit, where did my... There we go, just a moment. Trying to find something. Okay, I found it. There we go. But yeah, I think this game would really get compared a lot to Wosen, because Wosen was the last game that recently launched in the genre. That was like a big interest. It was it kind of generated a lot of hype, and I think once this game launches, it will be fair to compare it to Wosen. To Wosen when it launched, not to Wosen in its current state, like half a year after it launched. Although there aren't that many changes, major changes so far, but there are some changes. So if you compare this game when it launches to Wosen when it launches, I think that's gonna be fair. Should I do this boss fight? I don't think I wanna do this boss fight now. Let's try and find a good map. But if you compare the game while it's in early access to a game that has launched, like Path of Exile and Grim Dawn, that have launched many years ago and have gotten a lot of content updates, I don't think it's gonna be fair. If you compare it to Grim Dawn in its state when it launched for the first time, and to Path of Exile when it launched for the first time, then yeah, that's gonna be fair. Compare it to Diablo 3 in its state when it launched, with the terrible auction house that many people were unhappy about. Alright, we're not getting lucky. There isn't a single unique map. So it's gonna have to be Infamous. Alright, I'm gonna have to take this. See, this time there wasn't a single unique map. So if I had a few more levels unlocked, I would have had a higher chance of finding it. And we need a filtering option. We need an option for the Fazir's dungeon to filter the maps by affix. So for example, select from a list of affixes. If I want only Infamous and Unique, let me select Infamous and Unique and filter to see if I've got any available maps. Instead of having to click on every single stage and revealing all 3 cards to find the map I want, I'd much rather be able to see a highlight around the stages that contain 1 or 2 of the cards I selected. And then I would know, okay, stage 18 is highlighted, let's click on stage 18. and then I see, okay, stage 18 has Infamous, but then I see stage 26 is highlighted, and I click and it has Uniques, and I'm okay, I'd rather play the Uniques. But then I see stage 30 is also highlighted and it contains Infamous and Unique, and then okay, I'm gonna do stage 30. So you can see quality of life changes for the Fazir would be amazing. Because imagine having to go through 251 stages just to figure out which one contains the cards, the affixes that you want. It's definitely gonna take probably the same amount of time you would need to complete the map from start to bottom. So yeah, completing a map top to bottom probably would be quicker than going through all 251 stages and clicking and checking every card. Of course, that is if you have all of them unlocked, but even 100, even if you have 100 unlocked, that's still 75 roughly stages to click on, because one quarter would be bosses, the other one, and the other 3/4 would be map stages. So that's still gonna be 75 times 3. What's that? 225 times to click on a card. In fact, it's actually gonna be 300 clicks, because you have to click on the card and then click on the 3 cards. Then click on the next card, then click on the 3 cards to review them. And just consider the amount of clicking. But yeah, in general, if you try and find your way of getting fun of the game, you can do it. I found my way to play the game, and I can get joy from it. Even though at certain times I could get tilted, but I mostly get tilted while leveling up. I don't get tilted as much when I'm farming compared to when I'm leveling up my builds. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. Okay, sorry, I had to mute my microphone for a minute. I had to say something to a family member. But yeah, it's important to try and find what this game can offer to you, because it has a lot of things to offer. So many people would find those to their liking. Of course, there's also things that are missing that people might want to see in the game. Me including, there's many things I would like to see in the game getting added eventually post-launch. But I remember the times when people didn't care about endgame, when people just wanted a game with a decent story, to go from Act 1 to the final act, complete it, and then start the next hero. Or maybe just spend some time farming for certain items from the story bosses. I remember how many times in Diablo 2 I had to go and kill Diablo or Mephisto or other bosses just to get certain items, and then and how many times I had to kill, what was its name, Bao, in the expansion. And how many times I had to do the cow level. And there is no secret cow level in this game, and there isn't a secret alpaca level. But something like that would be amazing if they make some sort of equivalent to the secret cow level. It could be a Netherim level full of Netherim, and just be something that you can farm shitstones of different types of Netherim. A portal that leads to the Nether realm. Alright, let's see. But yeah, after the game launches, I will make up a big list of things that I would suggest and post them on Note as endgame suggestions. I'm gonna put each of them on a separate Note post. I'm gonna spend some time coming up with weird ideas, such as one of them is not a weird idea, it's just an idea that many people have probably already suggested. Um, just for the enemies to scale after they finish the story. To get the story zones scale to your level and the bosses, and people can just farm some of those story bosses if they feel like it. If they feel they prefer to farm story bosses um, instead of farming Fazir, I don't see a reason why not let them do it. So why not have story zones scaling to our level? And I'm gonna try and come up with a very nice idea of a survival mode. And the good thing about Torchlight 3 is it's gonna have modding. Yeah, it will be for offline only, but there will be modding, and you never know which mods might get migrated from the offline to the online if the devs like them. There's many possibilities when you consider that the developers might like a certain mod and add it into the live version if it's not game breaking or overpowered. It's happened in other games, like Grimdown has made some quality of life mods part of the live version of the game after them being fan favorite for a while before they got added. And it actually has been mentioned by developers that they wouldn't mind adding mods that fit into the live version. So if you're a modder and you're watching, you will be happy to learn that modding will be available. Maybe, I'm not sure if it's gonna be available from day one on launch, but it will be available for offline. I wouldn't mind testing mods and playing them and streaming them and having fun with my viewers and having multiplayer games with my viewers on different mods. Because that's gonna keep the game very, very fresh. All the content created by the community. And thankfully it's on Steam, and the Steam Workshop is a nice way of downloading mods. Although I think modding will only be for PC. I'm not sure how modding works on Xbox and on PlayStation and on Nintendo Switch. But that's gonna be a huge selling point for the PC version of the game, the modding. And it's kind of sad how Wosen also had modding for the offline version, but people, maybe because it was on the Cry engine, not many people made mods for it. If you go look up Wosen mods, you're probably gonna see what, 10 maybe? And most of them were just for gear and stuff like that, not actual real big mods. But Wosen is like a unpolished diamond when it comes to the opportunities that modding would offer to a game like it. I guess there are just probably not enough people familiarized with the Cry engine to mod the game when it comes to Wosen. Hopefully this being on the Unreal Engine would be a great bonus.
You can't use that skill.
And I can't wait to see new classes being made as mods. One of my favorite things to play on Torchlight 2 was testing different new classes from mods and mod packs. Let's see. I'm gonna have to collect some wood very soon. Let's go and do it. Let's go to the town and collect some gear bundles. I've got 25 gear bundles to collect. That's a solid number. By the way, this one-handed weapon with its damage. Wife-bound strong one-handed weapons are definitely amazing. Look at that. 7.6 thousand damage. It's stronger than some of the two-handers I've got in my inventory. In fact, it is stronger because it's wife-bound. I'm still to find an amazingly wrought two-hander. I just can't find an amazingly wrought two-hander. I have one on the test server, which I'm not sure I can access anymore. I'm not sure if it's still open. Let's do this now. Let's open gear bundles.
Year for coin. Year for coin. You come back with more coin.
Let's use this.
Just who I wanted to see.
Let's sell some of this. Now this one, I'm gonna sell it. Wait, actually, faster cooldown for ice shield or faster cooldown for sonic pulse? I'm thinking faster cooldown for ice shield might be better for my build. Because this build I'm running is double damage on ice shield due to the pet doing the icicles as well. And it's also good to have ice shield more often. It's more survivability, indirect survivability.
If you have money, I got gear.
Good fire defense. If I need fire defense, could I save this? I can probably save it. I'm gonna have to get some stuff in my storage.
Year for coin. Year for coin. I'll see you soon. I'm sure
Actually,
money.
let's
I
sell
got gear.
this.
You come back with more coin.
I collected everything, right?
Just who I wanted to see.
Okay.
Oh, you'll be back.
That spell can't be cast.
So I'm gonna put some items in my storage, in my wardrobe. I love wardrobes. That's one of my favorite things in the game. Not my favorite thing, but probably in my top 5. The wardrobe system. There are still some things I don't like about the wardrobe system. How those wardrobes of the forged, for example, I can only access them with the forged, and it makes no sense. I understand not being able to get my cannon on a disc mage, but why wouldn't I be able to get an armor like the chest or the helmet or the shoulders that my disc mage can use, why isn't the disc mage able to take it from the forged wardrobe? This thing just makes no sense for me, and it never made sense why they made such a restriction to it. Two-hander here, one-hander. Come on, I'm gonna have to make another one. Okay, I'm running out of room where to put my storage. Actually, I wanted to equip this, so let's put this here, and this one is for the storage. So this is the fire defense, this is the fire defense, and this is poison. Let's equip this, and Sonic Pulse one. How does my cooldown change? Sonic Pulse 12 seconds, and this brings it to 10.6. Damn, that's 1.4 seconds. No, that's what is it? Actually, yeah, 1.4 seconds. Whereas Ice Shield goes from 20 seconds to 18.8, which is 1.2. But it's Ice Shield. It's more important for me to maybe get this. But this is also nice. What's the duration? 6 seconds on a 12-second cooldown. Eventually this will be better, the cooldown will be better, because I'm gonna get it leveled up to level 6 when I get my helmet. I think I'm gonna play that way for now. So let's put the Sonic Pulse one here. Alright, let's go. Let's do more farming. And Dudu, welcome back to you. Let me check what you said. Is it only me, or is the stream freezing? Well, let me check if the stream is freezing. I can tell. It could be just you, because dropped frames 0%, 0.0% dropped frames. Let me check the stream on Twitch. I don't think it's dropping frames. Oh shit, my cable got unplugged. How did this even happen? Okay, just a moment. I'm monitoring my stream on another device. That's not my PC. And my charger for that device is a little bit broken. I need to buy a new one. Fuck. But yeah, I'm not seeing any freezing. So I'm not sure why you are seeing freezing. Well, I hope my device doesn't run out of battery. Okay, but yeah, 0.0 dropped frames from network and from other things. So the bitrate is stable. That tells me there shouldn't have been any dropped frames, any stuttering. Okay, I guess it could have been on your end. The most smooth and instant. I'm not sure what you mean by most smooth and instant move skill. Do you mean the movement skills like ramming robot, the blinking, hammer spin? There's one thing about the Realm Master Slammer. The Slammer Realm Master is like dancing on the battlefield. If you play it the right way, it's very smooth. You're chaining one animation after another animation after another animation. If you consider spike drive, pound, and hammer spin, and this could be like a dance on the battlefield. So for me, that's one of the smoothest things you can do. Considering how nice the animations of those skills are. The hammer spin, the spike drive, and the pound. There could be a little bit of delay in between the attacks, but you can chain them pretty nicely. Okay, well, couldn't find a good map, so let's just find any unique map should do. Uniques harvest Wookiee spiders. This is the highest level uniques we can do. I can probably, after this map, I can push the boss so I can unlock some more maps, so I can have some more options. Normally I think pushing until level 30 is kind of good, because it gives you a sufficient amount of maps to check for the right affix. So after this I'm gonna push my boss, so I can unlock the Plague Bearer maps. I'm just not a fan of having to do the Plague Bearer ones. I could lose my decent pistol if I die there. You felt that the sharpshooter movement skill feels super clunky and delayed. Well, the mage is exactly the same. The mage movement speed is exactly the same. The movement skill of the mage. The forge has a very nice movement skill. This one, it feels nice and smooth, but I really love hammer spin. I really love hammer spin as a general, because it gives you movement speed buff. You don't get a movement speed buff on the forged. The mage has a luminous run, which is also great, and it also gives you a little bit of extra movement speed for a short time. And on the disc mage you can have double the movement. You can have luminous run and shadow step. It's the one class with double movement skills. The sharpshooter can have 2 times reload and Ghost Visage, so that means you can do 9 Ghost Visage casts, or even 12 Ghost Visage casts if you're using the right items at once, which is great. But the Realm Master has the movement speed boost, and the Forged, it's just it's the slowest. It's the slowest of them all, because not only does it only have 1 movement speed skill, it doesn't get a movement speed buff like the Realm Master. So if you were to do a running competition, a race between all 4 classes, the Forged would be dead last by a big margin compared to the other classes. The Sharpshooter probably would be first with the right build. Stacking a Quicksilver item, stacking that extra charge on Ghost Visage, and stacking 2 charges on Reload. This mage probably would be second place if you combine Quicksilver with Luminous Run and Shadow Step and play it right. Of course, everyone would be using the Quicksilver in that race if you were to compare how quickly one hero could be compared to the other one getting from point A to point B. Let's see. But yeah, I think Forged has a very nice and smooth animation, but that's all it is. I would really like to see some improvements on the mobility department. Long ago, the Forged had a passive 25% movement speed bonus. Back in the alpha, if you level up to the maximum, which was level 12 on Cyclone mode, you got 25% I think movement speed bonus, if I'm not mistaken, when you reach level 12. Of course they later changed it and removed that bonus, and the Forge became a little bit slower. But it was nice because this bonus was permanent, so all of the time you were benefiting from that 25% movement speed. And it felt very nice on spin-to-win builds to have that extra 25% movement speed. Can't wait for them to fix, not fix, but to do that change where they mention that Vortex Bomb will no longer be interrupted once you start casting it. If you use targeted strike and instantly use the move skill, and after that there's a big delay until it actually moves. Yeah, there. Hold shift. Do it while holding shift. Hold shift when using the movement skill. The way it works right now, it's very bad. They changed it with one of the patches. After early access started, they changed it so that it only starts doing the blink and the ghost visage once you're within distance. So either make sure your cursor is not too far away, because then the hero would start moving towards that direction, or hold shift and press gold visage while holding shift. So for example, if my cursor is here and I press spacebar, which is my movement skill, on a sharpshooter, the sharpshooter would walk all the way to here and then teleport. But if I'm here and I have my cursor here and I hold shift and press my movement skill, it will teleport from the place where I'm standing. It didn't used to be like that, and they ruined it with one of the patches a couple of months ago or so, and it started moving towards a point that would get the hero within distance. And it makes no sense for it to work that way, because I think first of all, I think movement skills in games need to interrupt any type of animation that you're doing, regardless what it is. Whatever you're doing, fighting with basic attacks, using a skill, when you use an escape mechanic, it should interrupt that, not finish the animation, not finish the damage or whatever, and just immediately teleport you or move you out of danger. I think that's how it should be in every hack and slash isometric ARPG out there, even in the third person ones. You do a dodge, you do something that's supposed to be your escape mechanic, your emergency escape button, your eject. It should immediately interrupt. This is pretty nice. Damage versus Voltura. They used to be. I remember in the alpha, or maybe it was in the closed beta, one of the patches in the patch notes said that their vision for movement skills was for them to interrupt, and they made every movement skill interrupt. Then later this somehow got removed for no apparent reason. And I didn't feel like it was overpowered. I think it felt pretty amazing to be able to interrupt when I do my movement skill, to immediately stop doing what I was doing and just move out of danger. Right, let's do this boss. Probably gonna do Shriekbeak. Seems like the easiest out of the bunch. And I've got a lot of electric defense. I don't remember them confirming it in patch notes. I just remember that it suddenly stopped doing that. I remember it suddenly stopped doing it and I don't know why. See, that's 2000 damage versus Voltura. And I can get another 2000 damage versus Voltura from this item. That's 4000 extra damage versus Voltura. With this boss being Voltura, that's actually a very great combo. He's Plague Bearer. Let's burst him, let's burst him. Okay, I'm gonna do this. And what else did I change? I changed, oh yeah, I changed my weapon. Okay, and another blue pistol. Oh, damage with Cyclone mode. If only this had a socket, it would have been my next weapon to wife bind. By the way, my pet is asking for food, so I'm gonna do a quick ad break of like 30 seconds if you're on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, well, no ads for you. I can't run them there on demand, but I'm here. You're just gonna have to watch my character stay in one place. Sky, say hello. he's nervous, he wants food. He's hungry. The hungry angry kind of mixture. Alright, I gave him food. Okay, back into the game. Okay, let's see this. Unique's Berserk pet. Let's quickly check for infamous uniques. Come on game, give me infamous uniques at least once today. These lightning pulse areas could use a more obvious look. Some grounds with the light. I think they really need to rework some of the visuals, because sometimes they can hide your own effects, or your own effects can hide the game effects, the hazards. For example, let's say you're using poison dart. I think poison dart can hide some of the hazards, such as the lightning fields and stuff like that underneath it, and it's not gonna be a great feeling when you're using your own skill to make some poison fields on the ground, and then the enemies in those poison fields do some sort of AoE like Stormbringer or whatever, and you don't see it because your own skill is hiding it. I think I wouldn't mind them doing the MMO version of things. How MMOs are doing, every single boss field is red danger. It stands out. You know it's not your own field. I wouldn't mind having an option to toggle this in the options, to toggle to toggle contrast mode, or whatever you want to call it. They can come up with a better name, where every single negative effect from the enemies is super easy to recognize, and it stands out. And maybe to hide my own fields. I wouldn't mind hiding my own effects, because I don't really care about those as long as I can see the enemy danger effects. That's good for me. Sometimes it can be clustered on the screen from all the effects, yours, the enemies, and so on. There's also a lot of those that need rebalancing, such as the acidic ant. Mostly the acidic ant. By the way, that's the best map you can get as a fixes. Uniques and infamous. And that's the holy grail of maps in the Fazir. If you get such a map, then some people might wanna abuse it, and instead of finishing the map and killing the boss, once they're done farming the enemies, the packs, they can exit back to character selection and then go back into the map, because it's not gonna disappear, it's not gonna change. If you go back to character selection, you can do the same map. And this is how you farm items. In a map like this, every single enemy that gives fame will be giving fame, and every single champion will be green. So that's like around 300 fame plus per champion pack, per unique. Because it's double the fame, but also every champion is unique. And uniques on Ridiculous give you 150 fame. With this, it's 300. And if it's a big map, this one isn't. This is kind of a small map, I think. Because it goes there and then it goes here. And that kind of is it. But if you get a good one like a forest map, or like a long one, like the docks, the ones with the docks, with the wooden river kind of run map, those can probably give you a bunch of contract levels, like 30. I'm not sure how much I had when I started this, but let's say I had 3 contract levels or 2. And let's say I've gotten 1 or 2 since I'm here. I think I've only gotten 1 contract level, so let's see how many I can get before this map is over. It all depends on how many green enemies I will encounter. Okay. See, here I'm getting low level items because it's a low level zone, but again, the items come from the contract. See, I'm already 4 contract levels more than a couple of minutes ago. What contract level do you suggest to use for new characters that has the legendary completely empty? Oh, I would suggest for new characters, do each contract level until level 40, so you can get the one-shot rewards. There's rewards that you can get only once for each contract. After you do every single contract to 40, my suggestion is to farm the adventurer contract. The adventurer contract is the one that's gonna give you gear work maps, supply run maps, and you can just run supply run maps in between your Fazir runs. Because if you don't have the Legendarium finished, you would want that gear work. More gear work means more item drops, and more item drops means more dice rolls, and of course more dice rolls means more chances of getting a legendary as a drop. So it's not directly getting more legendary items, but indirectly you still will be getting more legendary items by getting more gear work, even though it's quantity and not quality. So just do each of them to level 40 to get the one-shot rewards. But if you don't want all the one-shot rewards, which is some fort decorations, some storage statues and things like that, if you don't want all the storage room like wardrobes and character slots and shared stash tabs and all of that, you can just keep running the adventurer contract until you decide it's time to get the one-shot rewards from the others. But I do suggest to get each contract to level 40 first. Again, it's up to the player to decide what they need more. Do they need more maps with gear work that they can run? Or do they need or do they just want to focus on doing what I'm doing, which would be infamous uniques maps, or if not infamous uniques, then just uniques, if infamous uniques is not available. And you can just farm gear bundles instead of doing map works with gear work. You're definitely gonna get better better chances of gearing up by doing what I'm doing right now. Hunting for the Holy Grail, hunting for infamous unique maps. They're not gonna be there all the time. See, that's probably my map number 5 since I started streaming, or 6. Either number 5 or 6, and the other ones I kept checking and I couldn't get one, so it took me 5 or 6 maps to finally get one with those two affixes at the same time. And if you're lucky and it's a long map, that's gonna be like 2 or 3 legendary gear bundles, which is 2 or 3 guaranteed legendary items from a map like this. But gear work maps can also be very nice for you. So those are also something that shouldn't be underestimated, especially if you stack other things that give you gear work. See, I started around 2 or 3 contract levels. I'm now at 14. And this was a very short map. So I got like 12 contract levels from this super tiny map. That was super quick. So for the time I spent, the amount of contract levels was pretty decent. A guaranteed 1 and a little bit more legendary gear bundle. I'm not gonna collect my gear bundles right now though. I'm gonna wait for at least 30 or 40. But if you're new and you just don't care about the other stuff from the other contracts, just do the adventure contract. And you definitely want to start with the adventurer contract, by the way. Because I think there were some legendary... See this map? That would be a legendary map that gives you 50% gear work. And then there's another one at 37. Okay, this one, this one, this one, this one. Let's sell and let's try again. Let's try and check where the good map is. 16. 16 is unique reliquarian. Okay, I'm gonna remember this. So far the best map for me is on 16. So 16 is the best so far. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be a better one. I doubt there's gonna be Infamous Unique this far behind on the levels. Well, still, you can't get it every time. As I said, it's rare. It's rare to get that map. Okay, let's do stage 16. It's not that bad. Uniques with Reliquarian could be much worse. So yeah. It could be like extra crit chance to bleeding, for example, and I don't have bleeding, so that could have been a wasted second modifier. So not too bad. At least it's uniques. Right here, and do this, and this. Hood Feather, that's an interesting name. Hood Feather. Okay, I missed a shrine. What shrine did I miss? Where is it? Ah, it's this one. Alright. Well, so far so good. Already killed 2 uniques, and then there's a third one. And the nice thing about this scaling of the enemies to... of not of the enemies, but of my gear to the enemy level is that even though I'm doing sometimes under 60 level maps, although this one is level 60 map, but even sometimes I'm doing maps under level 60, my gear is getting scaled down, so I'm still having some sort of a challenge there. I can still get wrecked if I'm not careful. Okay. Come on, come on. By the way, we're 3 days away from the Baldur's Gate 3 launch. 3 days away, not much time left. Not sure if many of you are excited about the game as much as I am, but if you are, you would be able to watch me play. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a vampire character, but I'm considering it, just because it's something new to have a vampire character that might need to feed on some of the other party members when there's no other options around available and you get hungry. And it's just gonna be an interesting mechanic in Baldur's Gate 3, the whole vampire character kind of thing as a race. I'm wondering how the vampire would be traveling on sunny, bright areas. Are vampires in Baldur's Gate 3 gonna be sensitive to the sun? Are they gonna take damage over time while my party is walking in the sun, or is that not gonna be a thing in the game? We'll see. And yeah, Baldur's Gate 3's launch is near. Can't wait to get my hands on it. And there is no pre-order, so you can't buy the game before the 30th this month. And it's gonna be a full price early access. So it's not a real launch, it's just an early access launch. And it's gonna cost you the same price as you would be paying for the full game. Some people would not be happy about having to pay a full price for an early access game, because normally it's cheaper to allow early supporters to benefit from being early supporters. But maybe there's gonna be some other things as benefits to people who buy it during early access versus people who wait until launch. We'll see how Varian will handle this. There was actually a very interesting video recently about character relationships and things like sex in the game and things like that. You might want to watch it on the Varian Studios YouTube channel. It was fun. It was definitely fun to hear from the lead writer of the game regarding how the characters and the interaction and stuff like that has been made. In games like Baldur's Gate 3, this is super important, I think, as a part of the game, having different ways to interact in between the different characters and having relationships and stuff like that. I'm just I don't know what I'm gonna do with streaming, and if there's a sex scene in the game and I'm streaming, what's allowed? My streams are 18 plus, so what does Twitch and YouTube allow on stream as nudity? Is it partial? Is it full nudity that's allowed on stream? I just don't want to get myself in trouble for showing something that I shouldn't. So yeah, I gotta figure out what's allowed, and if I can't, I'm probably gonna enable some sort of censorship or whatever in the game. If it's not allowed on stream. The same goes for Cyberpunk. I'm pretty sure on Cyberpunk already some journalists, some content creators who got early access to test the game already said that the character creation is very detailed. It's so detailed that you can even decide your dick size or whether you have a dick or a vagina on your character, regardless of what gender you select, I guess. And you can even customize your dick, whether it's the full turtleneck or whether it's circumcised and stuff like that. So obviously this shouldn't be this should be censored when streaming on Twitch. So if I start streaming Cyberpunk 2077 when it comes out, I'm gonna have to enable some sort of censorship to not get myself into trouble from Amazon for streaming it. Cause yeah, if you have those options there, that means it's so visible. But man, talking about detailed character customization. You can watch some videos on Cyberpunk 2077 if you're interested about this. There are some people already talking about it in their summaries or early hands-on videos. Yeah, nudity in games, kind of becoming a trend with some games recently. I mean, it has been there in games like The Witcher, so I can't say I didn't expect it in Cyberpunk 2077 to have romance options and nudity in certain scenes of the game, in certain quests. And I can't say I didn't expect it for Baldur's Gate 3 either. Come on, come on, come on. By the way, I'm liking my damage, but keep in mind my damage is boosted by 20%, so I wouldn't have this much damage if I didn't wife bound my weapon. And that's why I'm playing with the defensive aura. I want to make sure I don't die, so I'm using for a change I'm using Aura Defender instead of Deadlier Strikes, because I think I can get enough crit chance from the Mountain King Gauntlets, especially knowing that this stacks more than once. And if I get the set, stacking this twice would give you 20 plus 20, which would be the cap of 40 crit chance. So there's that to consider. I normally play with the crit chance aura, but on a build like this with the Mountain King Gauntlets, and when I'm using certain things like the chest piece that gives me crit chance for a few seconds. Which one was it? I'm actually using two of them right now. I'm using Arc Powered, and earlier I was wearing another one. Oh, I'm getting this one. By killing a goblin I get another 25% crit chance. And does this give me crit chance? Maybe no. Oh, that's not crit chance, that's just gear work, never mind. So this one, if I kill a goblin, another 25 crit chance. This is not an item I want here. Here I want ideally a good blue hatch. But this one's not a bad one. When farming, I actually think it's not bad to have a hatch that matches the element of the enemies, or to have a chest piece that matches it if you're going for farming sessions. But ideally I would have a blue hatch with percent damage. My highest damage right now is poison, so I would prefer percent poison maybe on my hatch. By the way, it's getting a little bit late. It's 9:54 p.m. so I'm probably gonna do one more map after this, and that might be it. But tomorrow I'm gonna hopefully be ready, because I'm gonna keep farming after I'm done streaming. I'm gonna keep playing the game and hopefully get this helmet so I can make my build video. If I don't get the helmet, I'm gonna have to release the build video with a build that's not complete, that's not ready, that doesn't have those missing 12 skill points from the helmet. But if the game is... I mean, it's day 4. I've been leveling this build for 3 days, and today, since it wasn't ready yesterday, I had to play it again. I had to play it again to try and gear it up. Oh shit.
You can't cast that here.
I almost died. I ran out of potions. I forgot to buy potions and I ran out, and I kind of had to end the map before I died.
Potions for you? Potions for your little friend?
Right, let's do one more map, I guess. As I said, one last map. I'm just gonna buy 20 potions, that should be enough. And before I buy those potions, I will go and buy some helmets. Maybe I can finally get the Mountain King helmet. I mean, 12 skill points. 12 skill points is a huge number of skill points. I really need it. But yeah, I'm gonna have to release an unfinished build tomorrow if I don't get this helmet. I'm gonna spend a few more hours farming after my stream, But RNG hates me in games, and I don't like games where RNG, where I have to depend on the RNG too much to make a build, and where I have to sell my kidney and my firstborn child so that I can get the build ready. Plus 1 skill level to Sonic pose. With evasion. Alright, let's go to that map. But yeah, 4 days, and for those 4 days not a single drop of this stupid helmet. It's just really tilting. To keep getting the same items over and over again. Which reminds me, let's open my gear bundles, by the way. Or should I open the gear bundles at the end of the stream after this one last map? I've got 19 contract levels, that's gonna be 2 legendary gear bundles. And I can maybe get another one with the next map. Maybe. Let's see. Mountain King wheel. It couldn't give me the helmet, of course. At least it gave me actually it gave me the least necessary. In fact, this is gonna be ruining my build if I use this item. It's the one I wanted the least from all the set items. Hatch would have been more acceptable, even though useless for the build, but it would have been more acceptable than the wheel as a drop. Ooh, wow, look at this pistol. Now this is what I call a strong pistol. Look at the damage I can get on this bad boy. 7.7 thousand damage without enchanting it. Now let's enchant it. That's gonna be 8.8 thousand. Yep, 8.864 thousand. The other one is gonna remain hidden somewhere in case I die, so I can have a spare one. That Mountain King wheel we can put here. Okay, 5 more contract levels. Of course, yet another Egg of Mayhem. This is how RNG can throw me. At least it gave me a good weapon, so gotta give it credit for this. Alright, final map, let's go. Hopefully it gives me something good. And Silk Tea, welcome to my channel to you. Sorry if I replied late. So 16, that was the map I was just running. Let's do it, let's do the same map. Let's get hacking. This reminds me of a hardcore festival. Let's get hacking. Let's get hacking. Okay. What else does the pistol give? Was it chance to shock, or is that my pet shocking them? Chance to shock. Oh, that's so nice. Couldn't be better. Not only is it with good damage, but it also has chance to shock on it. I'm gonna go this way first. Let's pull them all together and do a massive AoE like this. How many more messages? Oh, we got them. But yeah, with wife-bound items you gotta be careful. You gotta keep a spare one. Unless you're playing hardcore. I mean, if you're playing on a hardcore league, if you die it's over anyways, so you gotta be life binding anything. Every single item is better wife bound instead of not. But if you're not playing hardcore, better make sure you have a spare item in case you die and lose the wife bound one. Otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. Especially if it's something super OP road. If it's super OP road and you don't have a spare one, especially as a new player, you probably won't have two super good road weapons. I'd rather not life bind an item until I find something similar in power. And then I'm gonna life bind the weaker one rather than the stronger one. But someone might wanna do it the other way around. I think there's someone spawning here. Never mind, there isn't. Look at my pet staying there doing nothing on the stairs. Of course, after the pet icicles ended, the pet started moving. Alright, almost done with this map, I guess. Final stretch. Let's see what's this way. There we go. Can I group up some more? I'm actually gonna pull the little birdies from here. Let's make Kentucky Fried Vultura. Or would it be Equinox, as I like to call it, Equinox Fried Vultura. Right, what else have we got over here? And, oh, that's a big boy. Look at how frozen he is. Right now, Snowstorm is kind of buggy in two ways. One way it's stronger because the freezing instead of 2 seconds is 10 seconds. The other way it's weaker because you don't critically hit 100% the frozen enemies, which you should when you have the tier 3 bonus. You should be critically hitting every frozen enemy. So when the two things get fixed, you're gonna be. I still think you're gonna be stronger, even though you're not gonna be freezing enemies for 10 seconds and only for 2. Critically hitting every time when you're attacking a frozen enemy is just a big damage boost. A very big damage boost. Ah, my inventory is full. This guy cannot be frozen, I guess. Oh, never mind, we froze him. Oh, almost done with the map. Final few enemies and then the boss. See this over here. Okay. Oh, they're coming from the pipe. Stinky Vultura. When cooking those that came from the pipes. Let's see. Like this. And like this. And now this boss that I had to leave the last map because I ended up having 0 potions on the boss. Survived somehow. This is kind of overpowered. Look at how many enemies with those grenades on the ground, and you barely see them on the ground. Sometimes they just blend in so nicely with the background you don't even see that there's a bomb going to explode. They really need to change the animation of things like Siege Breaker, not Siege Breaker but Siege, and all those orange things. They just blend so nicely that in a big melee you're not gonna be able to tell that there's bombs and there's gonna be rocks falling in that place. Okay, almost done. Almost done. Now what we need to do is collect the final contract rewards, see what we've got. And hopefully I can get this Mountain King helmet today. Come on game, just want one item. One stupid item is all I need for this build in its current shape. I mean, I need more than one, but one is the important one. Let's hope I can get another gear bundle and it will be the one I need. Just that legendary bundle. Come on, give me that Mountain King helmet, come on. Let's open the other gear bundles before. Let's pump that RNG. pet is full.
Your pet is back.
Okay, the pet returned. And now the moment of truth. Master Sword, seriously? Oh man. It's like I'm getting throat every time, every time. Well, no, I think that's gonna be it. Unfortunately, it's getting late here. It's 12 minutes past 10 p.m. and I've got people who go to sleep early in the house as guests. So yeah, tomorrow I'm probably gonna start streaming once I'm done with the build, with the video. Even if I can't farm the helmet, I'm gonna upload the video because there isn't much time. I've got other things I wanna finish in other games before Baldur's Gate 3 launches. So yeah, tomorrow this is coming as a build video. Hopefully with the extra 12 skill points I can remove from this tree, and I can spend on Sonic Pulse, on Frost Skin, Breaking Point and Energizer. Thanks for tuning in, Struck Club on Twitch and on YouTube. Keep it cool until next time, and goodbye from me.